Hi, my name is John Cordy, and today is my dad's 59th birthday, so happy birthday, Dad, and thank you for getting me into guitar. For my dad's birthday, I got him this Gibson ES165. The stipulation is that it has to live in my house, so there you go, Dad, it's yours, but it lives here, right? If anyone knows a smart way to fix the end pin jack in these guitars, seems like Gibson nailed the design, except for that. That's cool. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about inspiration, being self-taught and that kind of thing, because I've been getting some questions about it. And I guess this is one of the reasons that I don't really teach too much in actual life. I teach one student and his dad, but for me, I prefer to spend my time practicing and playing guitar rather than teaching. Because I was self-taught, I'm not particularly a good teacher, I don't think. I'd rather that another person's journey was self-inspired like mine was, because I think there's a lot of benefit to that. So we could do a bit of a history lesson if you're interested, but I first picked up a guitar when I was around about 4, and I made a dent in it, and therefore Dad wouldn't let me play that guitar anymore. And it came into my memory last night that I also had this little mandolin thing, but I hit my brother around the head with it, and as a result my dad put his foot through that, because obviously you can't be hitting my brother around the head with a guitar, because that's just inappropriate, innit? Especially on a Sunday. So then on my 8th birthday they got me a guitar. I was learning piano from quite a young age, I think maybe 5 or 6. So that takes care of all of the theory stuff, which I've never really had to worry about on guitar because I already knew it from piano and stuff. But my guitar journey starts off playing sort of simple chord stuff, and I grew up in church, so playing church tunes and a lot of rhythm bass playing. And then at some point or another my dad showed me Thin Lizzy, and I think basically put the Live and Dangerous record on and put it on the record player and said, listen to this. I sat on his lap and we listened to the tune Still in Love with You, which I think is still one of my favourite songs and one of my favourite solos, and that was basically the gist of what I was playing at the start there. That's the first time I've played that tune maybe in forever. But and I guess that started the journey of being interested in guitar solos and guitar playing and Thin Lizzy in general. So I got my dad to make me a tape of that record, and so I would listen to all of that and try and play along. So like tunes like Emerald, I would rewind it and play that little lead break, and I'd work out bits and pieces of it by ear. This was before really I knew that tab was a thing, and probably before the internet was particularly much of a thing anyway where I was. So I think that has ended up being quite an important part of my musical whatever thing, life. And you know, the Thin Lizzy thing takes you down the road of Gary Moore and all this stuff, and then by about age 14 I think I got into kind of Iron Maiden and some heavier stuff like that. And that was actually the first time I saw a tab book, and maybe around that time that would sort of Joe Satriani stuff, and then there was less of a focus on, was not even a focus on listening on here, it was just a necessity of learning stuff by ear, and then from there sort of Dream Theater and jazz, Stevie Wonder at university I sort of semi-discovered, Pat Metheny. And then I think the important thing is to try and follow inspiration through your guitar playing. So in the earlier days this is potentially a little bit less easy and accessible than it gets later on, because obviously your technical facility and your musical ability kind of increases, so I think it becomes a bit easier to follow inspiration. But I think the key to really getting the most out of guitar is mostly just to enjoy playing the instrument. So as much as people ask me for things like practice routines and drills and stuff like that, it's never really been part of my musical journey. I kind of see guitar as a way to make up for other things in the day that perhaps didn't go as well. So, you know, going through school, some of that can be fairly hard work, and you've got to do homework and all this stuff. So the guitar was like a 2-hour thing I could do every night that I know is kind of fun. So yes, there'll be things like working with a metronome in there, but it's really generally only working on stuff that was inspiring at the time. So if I was really excited by alternate picking, for instance, there'd be a phase where I'd sit and learn alternate picking stuff, you know, whether it's parts of a Dream Theater song that I really liked the sound of and thought, wow, I need to play that, or whether it was in the earlier days some tapping thing which I thought, oh, that's a strange thing, how do you do that on a guitar, or whether it's like a Steve Vai tremolo flick thing. Follow inspiration is basically my advice. So find the things that make you want to pick up a guitar and focus on those, I would say, and hopefully that keeps you interested and on that path of inspiration, and but also enjoying the thing. I don't feel like there's necessarily much point in setting down like a practice routine that potentially you're not even interested in maybe a week later. So for me, that's just how I think about the thing. Try and set yourself a path of inspiration and just follow that, basically. There's no real rules to music and stuff, and you don't really know where it's going to take you. Maybe you'll get a job playing the guitar some way. Maybe it'll be part of how you earn money, or maybe it's just part of how you get through a day job, because when you come home you can go and play guitar, and for that 30 minutes or hour or whatever, perhaps you don't have to think about whatever was happening. Perhaps it's a mixture of both, you know, perhaps you have a normal job and then at the weekend you play with friends in bands and stuff. I think there's a lot to be got out of music in general. It's not just a way to earn a living, in my opinion, and it's taken me till I'm in like my 30s to be earning a living from music properly. There's a huge portion of my life where it really was just for fun and inspiration, and because I wanted to do it. And I think that's probably a fairly good mindset to go into music with. There's not many people that earn loads and loads of money through music, but it is possible to earn a living if you're good at it. Even if you're not very good at it, it is possible to earn a living through music if you're good at it and you're personable. But also I think it's just a good escape. So what was the point of this video? Well, the first thing was to say thanks to Dad and happy birthday, so that's why I was sort of playing one of his favourite songs, or my take on it. And then I guess just to say, in terms of practice routines and drills, that's not really ever been part of what I do. Right now my schedule and practice routine is geared around, I say practice routine, what I do is every morning I come into the guitar room and I follow whatever inspiration. So I pick something that I'm going to try and make some sounds with, whether it's a pedal, whether it's a modeler, and I sit down, set the thing recording, and whatever happens. That for me has been able to keep me interested in guitar every day. And then the other thing that I do is every week I'm learning a jazz tune or a tune from a film, and trying to play that in a way that sounds musical on a guitar without too much accompaniment. That's a big part of what I'm trying to do at the moment. Trying to make it so, you know how like a piano player can sit down at a piano and music happens. I want that to be what happens when I sit with a guitar. I think with a loop pedal I can sort of make music, and with the freeze pedal, but I think without some of those things it's a bit difficult to just with a guitar, and without really planning pieces to kind of make free sounding good music. So that's what I'm working on. Anyway, that's what today's video was about. Sorry, it's a bit random. As I say, if anyone knows how to fix one of these bad boys, leave a comment below. And yeah, if you've got any questions on this stuff, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. But I guess that's me sort of addressing my background a little bit, but also what I use as a practice routine and that stuff, and how I generally use inspiration to guide a session rather than prescribed kind of ideas about what I wanted to achieve. That's just me though. Maybe that's useful for you, maybe that's not. If you wanted the Fractal FM3 presets, there's a buy me a coffee link. You can use that and just leave me a message saying you want that. Or if you've got anything useful out of the video and you can afford it and you like what I'm doing on the channel, you could also use that buy me a coffee link. The backing track and all my backing tracks, actually, as requested, will also go on Patreon. So that's a place to support what I'm doing if you want to. Even if you don't want to support me financially, that's cool. If you could like and subscribe, that would be useful. And thank you for watching. Have a good weekend. Was that in focus?